Monday morning. These days are getting shorter as they go. That's cool. I've made it out every day of the vacation so far, which means that this is the 5th day with the new vest setup. Quite liking it. Really good. Liking it much better than my other stuff. Went out last night, because I had plans in the morning. Went back to where I saw the owl the other day. Not there. Several people there. People with cameras, people with binoculars. Kind of thinking maybe too many and they scared them off. And I say them because, as it turns out, I only saw the photo of the one that was there, and I'd heard that there was a screech owl. There was a pair of them. I don't know if it's a parent and juvenile, because one is clearly smaller, from what people were telling me when I was at the meetup, but neither of them were there. And the fact that they'd been using that nest for several weeks now, I'm kind of thinking too many people know about it, because it was just immediate, like, just random people walking on the trail who live near there, I assume, are aware of it and have heard about it, and everybody knows. So they may have moved on. I'm probably not going to go back. It was awfully close to the trail. So we'll see. But anyway, I came out to another place that I've been to before for a nice little walk around. Won't be a super long trip this morning. I still don't have yet the clip to wear a camera and walk around. And I was thinking about how I can mic myself during that for sometimes, not every time. I don't know, just thoughts. I'm gonna go back to walking now, and we're here before the sunrise, but clouds look like they may cause some problems for that. So this might be more of a look and listen and not take so many pictures kind of day. That's okay. I've been focused entirely on doing the still photos for this vacation, and I have an absolute mountain of a backlog to get through when I finally decide to get back to editing all of that. We'll see. Big tree goes up and splits. Before the split, about halfway between it and the bottom, right hand side branch leading out. Owl. Okay. I've stepped a little further away so I can talk even at a reasonably low volume. I'm walking down the path here to where I'm at now, coming from that direction, and I see flying over this field very low something large that makes me think northern harrier, because it's flying low to the ground. and I think I caught a little bit of white, but I didn't see it through the binoculars. And it lands somewhere in these trees. And then a much larger, a moment later, it's very similar, comes and lands. That's a great horned owl sitting in the tree right over there. I can see it right now. You can't. God, they blend in so well. If I didn't know exactly what tree I was on, I wouldn't see it. But now I'm looking for the other one, because the other one did not go through to the other side of the clearing. It landed somewhere in here. But because I didn't see where it landed, and they blend in so well, I'm basically just looking at every tree for anything that's large. It's not gonna stand out. There's no light. There is nothing today. So the photos are cranked to the highest ISO. They are not gonna come out and be pretty, but I saw a great horned owl. That's enough for me to add it to a list. Very happy about that. That's 2 owls in a week. Wasn't planning to spend quite as long as I did at that bridge back there, but heard something I'd not heard before. Pulled out the Merlin app, and it repeatedly and confidently, I think, was saying a marsh wren, which I have never heard or seen before. I heard it, recorded it just through the phone. It's not going to be the best quality, enough to identify it, but I was really hoping I could see one to take a picture of it. They are tucked down into there. Could not see it at all, but I believe there are actually 2 of them from the amount of calls and how they were kind of going back and forth. So I've got an idea about recording out here that I might talk more about in the car or at another point in time, but all of this has really kind of solidified something. Anyway, that was cool. Marsh wren, count it, identified, heard, but not seen. We'll see on the way back if maybe they've come up a little bit. Hopefully the sun will be out a bit more by then. And maybe we'll swing back by and see if that owl decided that's its perch for the day, or if it moved on. Because at least there's a little bit more ambient light, even if there's not too much direct light. Well, on the tallest tree out there, as I was walking, it's pretty far, but I could see something up there, large and in charge. A hawk of some kind. What was it? I don't know. Maybe it was a deer. Or 2 of them. I saw a bunch over on the other side too, but there they go. I don't know what kind of hawk it was. Binoculars, camera, zoomed in as best I could, but it was sitting there for a minute, and then another one came up, one that looked darker. The one that I saw at first seemed to have, oh, you're coming like right by. Where are you running from? Is it me, or was there something over there? Oh, they're playing. Never mind. Oh, I hope this is coming through. That's cute. Okay. So, the one at first, at this distance, appeared to have pure white belly and a head that was kind of reddish almost. It was very clearly different from that, and then brown on the wings. I don't know enough about them to immediately tell what that is. I'll look in the book when I get back. I briefly looked on my phone but couldn't tell. Maybe Ferriginus? Maybe red-tailed. Probably red-tailed hawk. Probably a pair of red-tailed hawks, but we'll see. Cool though. I don't think we're getting any light, so I'm gonna do one last loop around, see if we can see the marsh wren down in here. That would be cool. That was a red-winged blackbird that just landed. And if not, then not. And I'll take another peek for the great horned owl and head on out of here. All right. Nice brisk morning out. It's actually a little more than 2 hours. Go ahead and stop my eBird list. Submit that since I got everything. Although, let's check for that hawk. Let's see. Probably should have brought the camera so I could have confirmed it, but let's just see. Don't think it was an osprey, not a golden eagle. I don't think a bald eagle, because they don't have the white, I mean pure white belly and kind of a cap on the head. This will probably be a check it at home, but just while I'm looking to see, I mean, I don't really see much of anything. Broad-winged hawk? Okay, it could have been a broad-winged. That has a mostly white belly and then darker on the head as a juvenile. But it was big. Red-tailed? Probably red-tailed. Oh yeah, the adult red-tailed. Okay, so red-tailed. Of course it is. Red-tailed is a very clear, all white. Man, I've seen so many of them where they've got spotting to them. They've got like a line across. They have different splotches of color. Some of them, there's so many different morphs of the red-tailed hawk too. Like the adult northern has color all through that. And the adult borealis, mostly white with a red head. So red-tailed hawk. That's what I said. Probably that. Possible a juvenile ferruginous, or well, maybe. Pale head and tail compared to red-tailed hawk. So it depends on how the head was. It's possible, and it would be in this range. Possibly a ferruginous hawk. Probably a red-tailed hawk.
This is the hawk. If you can't tell, I can do a little zoom in here just so you can see. It's definitely a red-tailed hawk. It's got the white belly. It's got red on the head. You can't really see the tail, but you know what? A moment later, I take a picture. That is a very red tail. That is a red-tailed hawk. But with that being said, great horned owl. He's sleeping by this point. By the time we came back and we saw the sunlight coming through the backside of it and seeing it, with the trees unfortunately getting in focus, there's a lot of foliage with that. I did manage to get a little bit, more of a side profile to see what it was like, so you could see the coloring of, just fantastic with the great horned owl. Anyway.
Maybe a Swainson's, but only the light morph adult, and that seems unlikely. But the owl most definitely, because it had those ears. Well, now, long-eared owl? No, they weren't that big. It was a big owl. Screech owls. Yeah, great horned owl, pretty sure. Pretty sure great horned owl, and it's like all over year round. So most common, makes sense. Great horned owl, excellent. Something new, have not seen that before. Just gonna add red-tailed hawk because I'm pretty sure that is the most common. We'll say we saw those. Put that on the list here. Whoop, update that number. Saw a woodpecker. Lots of mallards, saw some green-winged teals. No sun, but I did get some pictures. Mourning doves, a lot of herons. A lot of herons flying over. That was interesting. Hawks, owl, woodpecker, flicker, those marsh wrens. Oh, I wish we could have seen them. Yep. All right. Another one done. Continuing the trend. Keeping that streak going. Excellent. Great stuff. The other thing that I decided while I was out there, I've been walking around. I'm wearing the vest for that purpose so I can still explain. My idea is to, I've got the binoculars here, but where they go and they come up, I think it'll be okay. I'm hoping I won't be hitting into it. I have to find out. I don't know. I don't have the clip yet for it. But my idea is a mount that clips and then holds this camera, which is the same one I'm recording on. I just have two of them for both purposes. And so that should be, hold on. see if I can do this. If it clips here in the thing, it'll be like here. So my only concern is all of this, which might be a problem. I might have to lower the vest down to make that work, but we'll see, unless it goes further out, in which case I won't be too concerned about it. But that's the plan. Actually, you know what? Yeah, it wouldn't be higher up. I think the mount, it's an alligator clip, and so it would clip onto here. My only concern is it hitting this, but then it comes out. So I'll play with it. I think it comes in the mail today. We'll see, and then I want to be doing that. I've been out multiple times over the last week, obviously, and I've had none of that recording, and that is how I do, you know, it's useful to have if it's either running the whole time continuously, and then I do, for whatever reason, everything I've been doing kind of has a series name for all these years. We've been doing this a while now. I've been coming out for, this summer will make it 8 years. I think I started in 2018, of taking pictures, more serious as the time goes on. And even I didn't like every time I go, well, surely there can't be much more than I could do. And here we are with another idea. That's basically a split off and a combination of two other ideas. But anyway, the point of that was that that's what I want to do, is put that back on there, and I'll record the videos where I just walk, no talking. Usually, sometimes I talk, but I've realized the days that I do that, even like it's right here, but I really need to talk at a decent volume in order to get picked up just by this. Thank you, Magnet. Just with the onboard mics of this, which these are great, just to be clear. I really enjoy using these much better than the other one that I had that I lost. They have caused me significantly less issues, and they are great in many, many ways. I'm super happy about them for what I get out of doing this stuff with this. So I have a lav mic, obviously. I've got the wireless mic. I can put that on and do that. But again, it's not quite, when I'm out there, and these are the changes that I've done over the years. I used to go out and say nothing, absolutely nothing. Not even whisper to myself at a low volume. No, nothing, quiet. Thought that was necessary. And it is, depending on what it is. And you shouldn't be out there talking, and certainly not at the volume I'm currently talking at. But obviously, as I've been going more and more and more, I probably have done over a dozen, maybe approaching 24, maybe 20 trips out. I don't know, with a group of people no less than 10 or 15 in size, talking the whole time. It's a social thing. It's about meeting friends and catching up and, you know, doing that and talking about the stuff. And I'm learning a lot, and I'm making friends and I'm meeting people, and it's great. But obviously we still see birds. We see a lot of birds. We see more birds than I see when I come out on my own. So like the talking really isn't that bothersome, depending on the birds and depending on the situation. And obviously people talk at a respectable volume. I wouldn't be out there if people were, you know, doing that. I'm on speakerphone talking full volume. Like what? No, I would not be comfortable with that. I don't like when people do that anyway. I wouldn't want to be a part of a group that's doing that. So it is a respectful thing, and it's quiet enough. But there is talking the whole time. And I can talk even quieter than that and record myself. So that brings me around to, well, I'm doing that anyway, and I guess I could do that, and then I have the thing, and I can hook the lav mic up, and I could do that. And I went, well, it'd probably be better if I had a different kind. And another mic that I do have that I bought for recording back at home, and I have used on multiple times, it's actually very useful. It's pretty good. I bought it cheap, so it's not the best one. I could get a much better one for about $300. And I will do that one day, but it's not going to be today. But it is a headset mic. It's one you wear, it hooks behind you see it a lot in stage theater performances and things like that, or music. Singers will use mics like that, but it hooks behind their ears and, you know, comes along, and then it just comes right out, and you get a microphone that's right here. And that's really useful for a nice quiet, as long as I can control the volume of it. I have that. It is no longer being used. I was using it as a backup in case when I was playing a video game and recording, I moved away from the mic or I did something and I still caught the, you know, I still wanted the audio. But I wound up, like, I did that for, I don't know, 6 months or a year, I think. At least 6 months that I was recording that. And I realized the amount of times and the fact that those videos, I am not sitting there and watching myself replay things. I will play for 2 or 3 hours. That, like, I just want to edit it, be done, and I throw it on there. So the likelihood I would always take it and take that second track and just quiet it all the way down, thinking, all right, well, it's only going to be necessary if I move away from the mic, and hopefully that catches it. But like, as soon as you raise, if you have 2 microphones going and you aren't recording them at the same thing, and so, real quick audio, here's how this works. If you have a microphone as an input and you are recording it to a device, that is perfect. If you have a second microphone recording to a second device, those two will never perfectly be in sync. It is impossible. As far as I'm aware, there is no good way to have that continuously going where both audio recordings will always keep up at the exact same rate. It's just not going to happen. And so when they get out of sync, that's the whole thing of why you get syncs and like trying to keep things in sync. But again, it's never going to be perfect. I've found that out through recording multiple camera, like stuff in the car for multiple hours when I'm driving, and they'll just get out of sync. And it's like, all right, well, let's try to line them back up as best we can, but it's never going to happen. Or like, what if one camera records for 20 minutes and then needs to stop for a few frames and start a new clip, and the other one does 30 minutes? There's a desync right there. It just happens. Do the best that I can, but it just happens. But even in a short clip, if you have two input sources with two different microphones, they will get out of sync, and they will also not always line up. And it sounds really bad if they are even a fraction of a second out of sync, because it sounds like there's an echo. It's basically unusable for me. It's unlistenable. So all of that to be said, what I really want, and I discovered that, and the reason I stopped using that mic was because that mic has to be wireless. Like everything hooked up, I tried hooking it into a wired connection to have it at the exact same speed and everything, and it just was not working. It is designed to be worn on a person wirelessly away from that. It is not designed to be sitting at a desk where you could just plug straight in. So the wireless then adds latency, which then adds then it gets into the whole sync thing. So like I basically have just stopped using it entirely unless I am recording with only that microphone. I do not try to use it as a backup to another microphone. It just is not ever going to work, and it's annoying. It defeated the purpose of, oh, okay, here's a great, I don't really need the backup. It was a backup. It was intended to be that way. And because I had an extra track that I went, well, here's what I can do, and I can get this mic for, that thing was not very expensive. So it was something, and it really was just like, here's this. So I'm not using it anymore, which means it's just sitting there, which gives me an idea about, well, I should probably put it to use for something. What could I use it for? And that formulates with I'm walking and talking and doing this stuff. Can you see where it's going? Here's my ideal setup. I record from the chest camera, so I have a video recording. This will not be an every time. This will not be the come along video. What I will do in my head, and for the series, I would split them to, one would be, and I probably just leave it since I've already started it, come along would be pure quiet. I don't talk when I go out, and I take pictures and I see whatever it is. Another one that I would start up, and I'm working on a name for it, because it would kind of almost be like what I used to do while I was playing a video game on this channel a few years ago, before that ran its course, and I was like, I'm done with this for now. I might come back to it later, which is why I'm not sure if I want to repurpose that name, but it works. No, probably not. I don't know. For a while there, I was playing a video game. I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2, because the nature in that game and the wildlife watching is the best I've ever played in any other video game. And I literally made it, and I don't know how many, I did a year? I don't think I quite made it to a year. I don't think I did 50 half-hour episodes. Or no, they were more like 15 to 20 minutes, depending on what we saw. They were a bit shorter. That was before I got into recording video games just for myself for fun. But it was a very specific style of, in this video game, go out and just see what you can see, very much like what we're doing here, and talk in a very peaceful, calm tone, very much drawing inspiration from Bob Ross, and just exploring and having a good time and just producing good, fun, happy thoughts and feelings, and doing something like that, right? But I thought, well, I can do that for two reasons. One, I can do that because I enjoy a video game and I enjoy playing it and it's fun to see, and I'm practicing the photography of it because there's a camera mode inside that game to like see what's going on. And it actually wound up being really cool, and the amount of like mods that I put onto it for the PC helped me with that. It was a really good time. I enjoyed that, but it did run its course to the point where I stopped being as excited to record it. It was something to do during the winter as well, when I wasn't going out as much. Well, that's not really the case anymore. I'm going out regardless of the temperature, and honestly, regardless of the weather conditions, unless it's downright pouring rain, which we don't get very often here. We might over the next few months in Colorado, but it's just not quite, And so, all that leads to a microphone that's not in use and an idea for something. And I want to draw inspiration again. I honestly, I haven't looked into it. I have no idea if other people have already made it. I don't want to steal from somebody else, but genuinely in my head, I was just thinking of Bob Ross taking inspiration. But there's a fine line between inspiration and copying and stealing. Because like, where's really the line to be drawn there? But I wouldn't be opposed to calling it very similarly something like The Joy of Nature.
And I immediately, like, that triggers the anxiety in myself of being like, come on, you can't compare yourself to that. Bob Ross is a legend of these things, and he did so much. And you're not anything like that. And you don't naturally have that persona and that type of voice and that kind of peaceful, presence. And I also think about, well, neither did he to start with. Like, by that series, yes, but like from what I've learned about him, he was in the Air Force and was in the, I think it was the Air Force. Pretty sure, but in the military, and like that is a high stress, yelling, loud, and you just think the complete opposite for something like that. And I remember that was something I think I read where there was an interview where someone asked him about his history. He was like, yeah, I decided I never wanted to yell at someone ever again. I never wanted to raise my voice like that. And so he went into what he did. It was like, well, that's very inspiring. And I would love to do something like that. And I think that I could conceivably do all of that. The only thing I need to make that happen, I have a microphone, I might need an adapter, and I need a way to record it. And I would want to do something like, it can never be perfect, because ideally it's easy for me to edit, which it will not be. And ideally it is, you get the full experience of when I go out. Everything, the sights, the sounds. But that can never possibly be because you cannot have my eyeballs. And so when I look through binoculars, even if I look into recording binoculars, we're expensive and probably aren't going to work. I don't know how well that would be. That is something I'm considering, because I will take a camera, I'll take pictures, but I can't always, like, the binoculars are right here. They are the easiest and lightest thing to just lift up, and even if a bird's only there for a second or it's moving, I'm not trying to get it in focus. I am not trying to hold up this big thing. Like, it is the fastest possible way. So I will look into a pair of recording binoculars. They can be expensive. They can be really expensive. But if they work, that's another easy way for me to do that. So being able to see things, you get the wide angle view. My concerns are going to be the noise of the binoculars, making sure everything works there. That is something I'm currently trying to, I'll find out when I get the clip whether or not that's going to work, but that is something I have on my mind just in general about doing that. But like, I can just be talking through it. Clearly, when I go out, I can be talking, and like, I worry about other people talking to me while I'm out there, but I can press stop on a record just as easily as I do currently. That's already what the process is when I'm wearing a camera anyway. It's nice and noticeable. It's blinking red, so people are aware. Most people will not talk to me as much, but there are ones who will be like, I don't care, and they'll stop, and I will stop, and I can easily press stop on a record and start it back up after. I have done that more times than I can count at this point. It would give me another way to do that, and it would also do two things. Like, that would be less focused on the photography. That would still be a part of it because I still want to take pictures every time, but it would be more on identifying and just being out and present in the nature and just talking through. I'm already talking through, what is that? I see wings beating, probably a goose. That is not a goose. Hello. Hello. What? Who? How? There you go. We got a hawk. We got a harrier, maybe? That's what the problem was. Oh, wow, right in front of me. Yep, that's a northern harrier. Yep. Oh, cool. Well, I'll just boot my app right back up, add that. I'm still on the location. I've just been sitting here. Well, that was neat. I can't show it to you. That there was no way, but like right where I'm facing, there's a bank. A cliff bank, like the nature landscape is a bank there, and just flying right over it. I don't know, it may have had a kill and it may have been eating it on the ground because I just saw wings from the ground. It made me think it was a goose that was over there in the field, and the wings were large, and then it took off and then went over, and then I could clearly see the white patch on the rope and the fact that it was gliding so low to the ground. Northern harriers are so cool. I didn't realize, and it's funny how like that was something I'd never even looked at or considered or thought of before, a year ago, and now I'm seeing them regularly. We went out on Saturday, and I'm hoping those pictures came out. I haven't done it yet, but the trip on Saturday was to a reservoir, and the reservoir. We're just walking around looking at everything, and there are fields right there, and there's a northern harrier, and it's the male. It's the gray ghost, which I just like. How long I spent 2 or 3 trips, hours and hours, 10 plus hours maybe, looking for it, hoping to see it at that one location to get video. And I didn't, no video, but like more pictures. And it was during the day, a hot day with a lot of sunlight. So it wasn't close, but I hope I got some decent pictures. I was really excited about that. The whole group moved on after seeing it, and I just stood there for another like 5 minutes taking pictures of it, and then caught back up with them because I was like, it's the gray ghost, guys. This is really exciting for me. But anyway, okay. Besides all of that, that's the point. The point that I want to do is that okay, so for looking, it would be the chest camera. That thing can run all day. I got no problems. I can plug that into a battery bank. I'm already going to be doing that. So the only other thing is the audio. And the audio recording, it would be great to have everything running into the camera. One-stop shop, I don't have to do anything. That's probably not going to happen because this thing has no audio inputs. The best I could do would be maybe get a USB adapter, but then I can't have it charging. And it does go for several hours, and I can do a battery swap, and I have to fully stop down for that. Or I can just plug in a USB battery bank, and I can just go all day, no problem. So like, that's probably the more likely scenario, is I don't worry about syncing the audio to it. I don't use the audio off of this at all. I use it just for video, which means I want to get the audio somewhere else. And as I just talked about, having 2 different microphones from 2 different recording sources, getting out of sync and everything, not going to be ideal. So I use an audio recorder, a small audio recorder. I have one that I could just use the one I have. It's a 1-track, it has 1 input, I could record 1 microphone. That works. It's not what I want. If I'm going to do it, I will pull from savings to make this idea happen just because I want it this badly, and I think it could be something that I'm really proud of and I want to do anyway. Just another outlook. There goes the harrier again. It's right there, like right over that bank right there. There it goes. Oh, that is so cool. There it goes. Just looking for something to grab, a little mouse or something down in there. Fantastic. Excellent northern harrier. So I want a 2-track recorder, 2 channels, 2 microphones, 2 inputs. I'm looking at a few. I already started looking. I'm going to do a whole research project when I get home to try to figure out what's going to work for this, because I want something where, ideally what I want is something with physical buttons, which they really don't make as many anymore. But I think that microphone, the headset mic, would come down. It goes to a mini XLR little 3-pin thing that I have to convert because nothing uses that besides, I think there are some audio wireless ones, but I don't want wireless involved in this if possible. If it can work off of a wired thing, and I don't know if that's going to work either. I know I tried getting it to work wired, and I don't think I ever got it to work properly, so it might have to go through a wireless, which is unfortunate because that would add the latency. I haven't thought this all the way through yet. I got to figure it out. What I really want is a recorder and a 2-track recorder that will work with that XLR thing for that, or the wireless, the ability to record. So I'm still kind of playing around with it. I gotta try some things. I gotta think about it. It did work. I had an XLR at a 3.5 millimeter, and it would work as long as it was powered enough to boost the signal for the mic. That worked on the recorders. I don't know. I'm still thinking it through. But the point is the ideal situation. I will have to figure out exactly what it's going to take to do this. And that's, I guess, my project for today, because I'm off still. It's Monday, and I'm on vacation, which is lovely. Got a couple of days, and I'll figure it out. But yeah, the idea is to have a shotgun mic, maybe on my shoulder, if I use an actual shotgun mic of some kind. Or I do have a microphone. I do have a 3.5 millimeter, a Sony, I think it is, microphone that's like a dual, it's a stereo microphone. And I could clip that to my hat. I could clip that to my back. I could clip that, it's just this tiny little, it's a lav mic, but it's a double for stereo. I can use that. I would not want to use that without also having the mic here so I can hear that, but that was something I played around with a bit of recording when I was going out, and that sounds fine. So that's another option unless I want the shotgun specifically. So I'm thinking about those 2 kind of microphones to capture everything. And then the point of the physical buttons is so that I can immediately go, okay, I'm going to do a bit of talking now at this point, because I won't talk the entire time. The point is also to enjoy the nature. So if I'm just running up a stream of thoughts the entire time, you're not getting as much of that. So I would have the audio recorder that I would attach to me, and I could simply grab the knobs and go, all right, less of that one, more of me, and then swap them back and forth, which is why I want something with physical knobs for volume control and gain and whatnot. So I could easily change between the two microphones for when I'm going to do some talking, or when I'm like, oh, listen to this bird, and then I turn the shotgun mic up so you can hear that. That's what I'm going through my head right now. That is my goal for today, hopefully, is to go solve all of those things, to see if the recorder I have at home will just work in the temporary solution, so I have to buy one. I saw one that I went, oh, perfect. It's got the knobs. It's got everything there. It'll work. It's made for like mobile podcasting, a newer product that just came out. It works off of batteries. It's a nice small little thing. They're USB mics only. I don't have enough USB mics to make that work. And I'm not about to start, I already have so many as it is. I am not about to start going down the path of like spending more money on completely different microphones for that. I need to make this work for as cheap as possible while getting a minimum quality that I'm happy with. The minimum quality is 2 microphones for recording 2 different things and a way to control them. If I can control them through, you know, buttons or whatever, it is what it is, but I would prefer to have knobs if possible. That's what I'm gonna go work on. And I think it might be a few weeks, even if I jump on this immediately, order things today, it would be, you know, at least a week for things to come in and then find some time to try it. I have a ridiculous amount of editing to do after I get done with this vacation. So like, it might be a bit before we get to all of that, but yeah, this is good. I like this idea. This may very well be a thing that I start doing on different days, depending on my mood, depending on where I go. This would have been a perfect day for it today. I'm not really getting a lot of pictures because the sunlight it's so cloudy. This is what I want to be doing though. I've really like going out every day. If there's nothing else that we could take away from all this vacation, I just want to do this. And I can't make it a career and enough to pay my bills and get everything that I need to and support myself, let alone my wife. But like, this is what I'd rather be doing. That's for sure. God, it's good. It's great being able to come out. I look forward to my next vacation and I'll do the same thing. I think this might be a regular thing. I am almost to the end. This was meant to be a short trip. Tomorrow will be an even shorter trip. Wednesday will depend on where we go as part of the group that I'll actually be able to attend on Wednesday. But like, I'm happy that I'm getting out and being able to do it. It's really nice. And I'm tired, but yeah. All right. I'm going to go try to figure out all these problems. No, I'm going to go find solutions for my recording idea. Figure out what I already have and what I can make it work with already. Because I have these little individual recorders for just the one track. When I was talking about that small lav mic that's a stereo. That worked and I just put it on a Zoom recorder like the old style single track. But I can't do 2. I can't record 2 microphones off of that. So I just need that, and it can be 3.5 millimeter, but I gotta have 2 inputs for that, and that one only recorded 1. Anyway, I'm gonna figure it out. Maybe I'll make a video talking about that once I get it all in, or I'll just start doing it and see that it works, hopefully. I think it will. I think it will. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Bye, buddy. I'm still in the parking lot kind of going through. I didn't fit all of that talking and I didn't do all the thoughts I had about it. This new series of videos that I'm thinking of making. I'm thinking of thumbnails for it to differentiate it, putting it in a different playlist, doing all those things. But like this would be more focused on the identification. I think I did say that, of everything. It would be identifying the birds as I can see them and talk about why I'm identifying that way and use the apps at my disposal, and doing that for the plants too. I did one video one time where I walked around doing that and I had like a plant book to look at everything. And there are apps, and I just did that the other day when I went out. Yes, that would be exactly what I would want to do, is use the apps for that purpose too. I gotta go, I'm getting on the highway, bye.